It is my hope and the purpose of the actual exhibition that people look at it, read about it, and they begin to have their own community discussion about the situation. And so that's what I always look forward to, is that people are talking about the whole thing. If they say, "Oh, I didn't know that," then they want to learn more about it. The title is Precarious. And where did it come from? The precarious refers to the situation. And the situation is that years ago, we detonated under our land, under our people, unbeknownst to our people. The government was detonating nuclear weapons and testing them. And so as time went on, that changed. However, when I started this whole series, I was thinking about what happened years ago. And unbeknownst to me, early last fall, it became an issue again. And here we are, 50, 60 years later, and nuclear detonations are a topic. So as I was painting, it was very interesting. History does repeat itself. So that's what I'm showing in my work, is the weaponry, what happened underground, and how devastating it is and was. And I thought about that, and I thought how very important that was in that day, in our day, back in the 60s and before what was happening in our country. My preferred medium is acrylic or farms acrylic, and this particular series is painted with acrylic and a few other mixed media for effect. First of all, I needed to look at what materials I already had, and I had to decide how I could make the outcome of the work be somehow a replica of the concept of what was happening. And so I found some canvases and I repurposed them. In other words, I repainted. I painted over, but didn't erase all. I did not paint over everything. So I left what was, in some, there before. And the concept of that was to show that in this whole process, that there was a body of work, our land, underground, and that it gave it a setting. And it gave it the whole idea of that there was something that intruded on that previous painting of what was. So I painted over it. Then I decided on the palette, decided on colors that were colors I thought of devastation, things that didn't make sense. Colors, they weren't always pleasing to look at. They were, I had the oranges. Now, orange is a great color, and it really defined the explosion, the fiery, the devastation. And then there were other colors that I introduced to the palette, and I carried that out. And then next of all, I decided on the orientation. Now, the paintings that I repurposed were on a vertical plane, and I moved them on a horizontal plane, so that there was that movement. I could express more movement of what was happening with the weapons. And in a sense, I'd say those were the major pieces of what I decided to do. It's interesting that when people look at the work, they see it in different ways. Some people comment entirely on the palette, the orange, what a great idea, and so on. And others look at the work, the detail that's put in there, or the techniques that are used to show that thrust and downward and what's happening. And so I want them to have that. Now, of course, I do always write an artist statement, and that will be showing with this work. And it gives details, and there are some sites on the web that you can go to learn more about the history of it. And so I think the nature of the whole thing is, for me, the driving force. I'm not painting a detailed environment. I'm painting the violence and the change of the environment. And many people have said that comes across. So I think because I'm hearing from different people, they are picking up all the pieces that I want to express and communicate. I think it was a success.